Welcome, everybody, to a Game 6 NBA Playoff Eastern Conference Final preview between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. The game will happen Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. We're here at the Grizzly Crew Sports Network. We're breaking down, so far, the biggest game of the season. The winner of this game doesn't necessarily go to the finals, but if the Indiana Pacers win, they will go to the finals for the first time in a quarter of a century. If the New York Knicks win, they will force a huge Game 7 Monday night at Madison Square Garden for the right to go play the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now, the Knicks imposed their will last night. What they did last night with their season on the line, all their goals hanging right there by a thread, is to make New York fans believe. New York looked like a team that not only didn't want its postseason to end in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but they look like a team that could possibly pull off the impossible and come back from 3 games to 1 down to possibly beat the Pacers and advance to the finals. Now, Indiana needs to take this seriously. When you look at this, I kind of agree with Charles Barkley last night, which almost never happens, and that's the fact that the Indiana Pacers looked lackluster last night. The Knicks were playing for their lives. The Pacers looked like a team that knew that if they blew this game, they're going to get another shot 48 hours later at home. Now, the difference in this game was the pace. The New York Knicks controlled the pace of this game. Now, they took 15 more shots than the Pacers, which is unheard of in a Pacer game. The Knicks won the rebounding battle. They had 5 fewer turnovers. The Pacers had double what they have averaged in this series. I think coming into this Game 5 the other night, they were averaging 10 and a half turnovers. They had 20 turnovers last night. The defense for the Knicks was spot on. And you had Tyrese Halliburton coming off one of the best games anybody's ever played in the NBA playoffs in Game 4. He was held to 8 points last night and had no answer. Karl Anthony Towns, instead of shooting threes, the star big man scored 12 of his 24 points in the second quarter. Indiana had no answer for him. It seemed like every time he drove to the basket, you got a made shot and a free throw on top of that. Now, the Knicks were purposeful and they were also forceful in this game, especially Jalen Brunson, who's been targeted nonstop in this series. As a collective, the Knicks' rotations in this game last night were sharp. Their showing on pick and rolls was aggressive. They guarded the ball. Mikal Bridges even picked up Tyrese Halliburton, as I said, held him to 8 points on 7 shots. Now, OG Anunoby had 3 steals. Mitchell Robinson turned back into the block nest monster, recording 2 blocks and deterring the Pacers' ball handlers from getting to the rim. Landry Shamet came off the bench and on one possession single-handedly demolished an Indiana offensive possession. Now, the team on this night, the Knicks, were connected, physical, and focused. We have not seen this except for the end of Game 3. And it started at the point of attack with Bridges just picking up and making things hard. He was picking up before half court even. Now, Knicks guard Miles McBride played well, and the Knicks pull off these type of performances from time to time, but can they do this magic trick twice in a row? Or was this the Knicks' last magic trick of the season? Now, the final score of 111-94, the game was a bigger blowout than what it was. But now it shifts back to Indianapolis. How will Game 6 play out? Now, we just witnessed probably as big a game-to-game swing as you could possibly see from an NBA player. In Indiana's Game 4 win, Halliburton had an absurd line of 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, 0 turnovers. 2 days later, those numbers changed. They were 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting, and he handed out 6 assists in a loss. Now, the consistent version of Halliburton is probably somewhere in between. Now he returns home. And if you remember in Game 3, he did not play well. He said he was going to bounce back and play big. And he did. He had a legendary Game 4. In 13 career playoff games at home, Tyrese Halliburton has averaged 19.5 points and 8.9 assists. And his team has gone 11-2 in those contests. I don't expect Tyrese Halliburton to have another off night. Now, the Knicks may be down 3-2, but you've got Jalen Brunson, who's still on the wrong side of the zero in the series-long plus-minus column. But Indiana hasn't been able to slow down the diminutive point guard's production at all. He basically imposes his will. He's dropped 32 points on 12 of 18 shooting on Thursday night. The two-time All-Star is now averaging 33 points in the conference final, and he's averaging 5.5 assists a game. In Saturday's Game 6, despite the number of gritty defenders that the Pacers can put on him, guys like Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, and Ben Shepherd, expect Brunson to continue to pour in points at all three levels, plus the free throw line. And with the two lead playmakers exchanging haymakers, I think it's safe to bet the over of 219 right now in this game. This is going to be a shootout. Now, Indiana only shot 10 of 30 from three-point range last night in Game 5. Now, they're still leading the entire NBA in the playoffs, shooting 39.7% from three-point range. Pascal Siakam, Nesmith, Halliburton, and Obi Toppin all shot worse than they typically do from the outside. And it's hard to imagine that happening again for the second game in a row at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Now, with the home crowd and the jitters of their first shot at an elimination game in this series behind them, at least two of those Pacers will get back on track from the outside. And I think that will be enough in this game. There's a lot of people panicking in Indiana. There's a lot of people, it's recency bias. What you just saw is what you think you're always going to see. But I think we've got to come down with the fact of this. The Pacers could have easily swept this series if they don't blow a 20-point late first half lead. Of course, the Knicks blew a huge lead in Game 1, or that could have changed things also. But I think what we've seen in this series is I think Rick Carlisle has done a better job, for the most part, until last night, of coaching his team. I think the rotations have been much better. I think the Pacers space the ball. They get the ball around. There's many guys here for the Pacers that can beat you. With the Knicks, they're riding on Brunson and Towns. Now, for the Knicks to win this game, I think you're going to have a third dude step up here. I don't know that they can do that. If you're the Pacers, Nesmith has got to shoot the ball better, and Nesmith has got to be the guy usually on Jalen Brunson. He's done the best job at defending Brunson. And when we look at this game, Miles Turner, where were you last night? Miles Turner has to step up, and he has to play big. But I think at the end here, the point spread is Pacers -3. I think I'm going to bet this game straight up. I'd say bet at least $100, so it makes the odds good to bet that. But I think the Indiana Pacers on the money line win this game and will advance to the NBA Finals to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the Pacers win tomorrow night, 125-122. I think this is going to be a great basketball game. I think we're going to see Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson show us why they're two of the best players in the NBA, two of the best guards in the NBA, and they are both big-time players in clutch situations. That's going to make for a great basketball game. I think in the end, the Indiana Pacers are a little bit deeper. I like Rick Carlisle, and I think the Knicks have an excellent coach also, but I think the Pacers' rotations in this game, they're at home. I think Tyrese Halliburton goes off. I think the Pacers win this game by 3 points. Best bet, Pacers on the money line. You can go to BetMGM if you want to bet on this game. They're the top-rated sportsbook. You can click on the link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. And also, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, but really pound that like button, whether you're a Pacer or a Knicks fan. And by Monday, we'll have out, hopefully, an NBA Finals preview between the Thunder and the Pacers, or look for a Sunday afternoon edition of Game 7, Pacers-Knicks. Either way, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, follow us on X at Grueling Truth. But for now, guys, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.